friends, once again I welcome all of you to my one more episode of lecture which is on grammar. In this episode of lecture we are going to discuss elements of a sentence and what different patterns of a sentence are possible. In this episode we are going to discuss two important points, which are the elements of a sentence, or what elements can be there in a sentence and what different patterns of a sentence possible. Let us begin first with the elements of a sentence. Now when we say elements are nothing but they are the parts out of which a sentence is made up, out of which a sentence is made of or composed of. Now which are those elements? Which are those elements? The first one is subject. Then there can be verb, then there can be object, then there can be adverbial. So subject is a doer of an action. Subject is a doer of an action. Verb performs an action. Verb performs an action. Object is receiver of an action. We also have adverbial or adjunct, which shows where the action took place. And there is one more element that is called complement, that talks about the subject, that appreciates or describes the subject. Now here, so far we discussed what elements of a sentence can be possible in a sentence. Now let us go and discuss what patterns of a sentence are possible. Now we can have simple sentence as only in the form of subject and verb. So the first pattern of a sentence can be of subject and verb. For example, they wrote, he ran, she smiled, he collected, she went, they went, etc. Now the second one is subject, verb and object. Now here we can have examples like they wrote a letter, where they is subject, wrote is a verb, a letter is an object. He broke a window, she ate an apple. So this shows the pattern of subject, verb and object. The next pattern which we can have is subject, verb plus direct object and indirect object. I repeat once again, subject plus verb plus direct object and indirect object. So this pattern can be indicated with examples like she gave me a book, where she is subject, gave is verb, me is an indirect object, a book is direct object. They punished him with a knife. So here they is subject, punished is a verb, him is indirect object, and with a knife can be adverbial or an object. You can also say she gave me a glass of water. Where she is subject, gave is a verb, me is indirect object, a glass of water is direct object. Then she gave me some notebooks. So she is subject, gave is verb, me is an indirect object, some notebooks is direct object here. Now we can also have the next pattern of subject plus verb plus adverbial. For example, they went there. Subject is they, went is verb, there is adverbial. You can also see the children are playing in the garden. So here the children is subject, are playing is verb, and in the garden is adverbial or an adjunct. He was found there. So in this sentence, he is subject, was found is verb, there refers to adverbial. Many people were in the library. In this sentence we can see many people is subject, were is what, a verb, in the library is what, adverbial or an adjunct. So we can have the pattern of subject plus verb plus adverbial or adjunct. Now next one we can have the pattern of subject plus verb plus object. At the same time we can have adverbial, and the examples are she gave me something there. So in this sentence we have what? Object is also there and adverbial is there. She is subject, gave is verb, me is object, there is an adverbial. She gave me something there. So me is indirect object and something is direct object and there is an adverbial. Okay, then you can also have he purchased a car in London. So here this pattern is subject, he, purchased is verb, a car is an object, and in London is adverbial. Okay, the boys were eating cakes in the restaurant. This is the pattern of subject plus verb plus object and adverbial. The next what we can have is subject plus verb plus complement, and the examples are they are rich, where they is subject, are is predicator or verb, rich is nothing but complement which describes the subject. Rita is healthy, where Rita is subject, is verb, healthy is complement which describes Rita, that is the subject here. Okay, she appears upset. In this example, she is subject, appears is verb, upset is subject complement. Okay, they are generous. You can have many examples like they are generous, they are healthy, they are poor. Okay, he is a big fan of her. So like this you can have. So you can have many examples which fall in the pattern of subject, verb and complement. We can next have subject plus verb plus object plus complement, and the examples are she made her our secretary. In this example, she is subject, made is verb, our secretary describes, okay, the object indirect here. So she made her our secretary. So here it is object complement. It describes her here. They made him our boss. So here they is subject, made is verb, they made him is an object, our boss is what? Object complement. People elected him our prime minister. So people is subject, elected is verb, him is object and prime minister is object complement, because the prime minister gives more information about object here. So guys, in this episode we have learned two important points as far as grammar is concerned. The first one was elements of a sentence, important elements of a sentence. As we know, the standard pattern of a sentence is subject, verb and object, which has to be there in order to make it a meaningful sentence. A sentence is nothing but a group of words which makes a complete sense of meaning, and the elements of sentence can be subject, predicator or verb, then object, that is indirect object and direct object, and then adverbial or adjunct, and complement. These are the elements of what? Sentence. And then what different patterns are possible? We have seen there are as many as 7 different patterns of a sentence. There are as many as 7 different patterns of a sentence which a sentence is composed of. First we saw they can be subject and verb. Then we saw they can be subject, verb and object. Then we saw there can be subject, verb and adverbial. Then we saw there can be subject, verb, object direct and object indirect. Then we saw there can be subject, verb plus object and then adverbial. Then we saw there can be subject, verb plus object and complement. After that there can be subject plus verb plus object plus adverbial. Subject plus verb plus object plus adverbial. Okay, these many are the possible structures of a sentence. possible ways of making a sentence, constructing a sentence. So guys, in this episode we have learned how to identify the elements of a sentence and what different structures of a sentence are possible. Thank you very much everyone for watching this video.